I've had to learn it as I've gone, because I don't know nothing about these heaters and stuff like that. But this video was to try and demonstrate, can somebody with no knowledge on engines and stuff like that set up the diesel heater, and it was simple. I had to scratch my head a few times about going through the shed just to make it safe, but as you've seen in this video now, I've done it and this is the way to do it. But I would always say get some professional help or advice. I'm not a professional, but it's working a treat. Ooh, freezing cold. I might stay in the shed. It's warmer in here than it is in the house. Lovely jubbly, nice and toasty. Hello everyone, welcome back to England's History. Today we're going to be taking a look at this. It's a diesel heater. I've got this for my shed. At the minute it's like 0 degrees, even less than that at night, so in the shed it's absolutely freezing. So I want to be able to, I can't sit in there at the minute because I've got all my woolly hats on, my gloves on, everything. As soon as I take anything off, I'm froze. So I've got a diesel heater. Hopefully I can spend a bit more time in the shed doing a bit of tinkering, bits of jewellery and stuff like that. So hopefully this can help other people that are in the sheds. You can use it for your cars, you can even use it for tents. What I've seen on some of the videos is the reviews are absolutely fantastic. It sounds really good. I've not used it yet, so I can't vouch for it, but it sounds absolutely brilliant. But if you're using it in a tent, or if the exhaust that comes off the bottom, it obviously gets really hot. If you're using it in a tent, or you're putting the exhaust through an area that could melt, you've got to put like a heat shield of some sort around it so it doesn't damage wherever you're putting that exhaust. But I've got to be clear with everyone, I haven't got a clue about diesel heaters. I've never seen one work, I've never used one, etc, etc. So this review is going to be, can an idiot set it up? Because I haven't got a clue. So can I set it up? Somebody that's never used one before, somebody that hasn't got a clue about heaters or anything like that. Is it easy to set up? Is it easy to use? Does it work? Is it efficient? And is it cheap to run? That's what I want to know. I just want to be able to, because what I've looked at as well is you've got Bluetooth, you can use it on your phone. So I can be sat in the house, I want to go and do some tinkering in the shed in a minute. I'll warm the shed up, push the button, it'll fire it up for me, and 10-15 minutes later, I go into the shed and it's hot. I think, I'll tell you what the item is. It's called the Hcalory or calorie. H is for heater and calorie is calorie, which is a unit of heat. So the product name, the calorie is a unit of heat. The product name is Hcalory. It's an 8 kilowatt station diesel heater. So Hcalory 8 kilowatt station diesel heater. That's what that is. This is only, I think, is it £113.99p, and you get a 10% discount, which is obviously the 14, so it takes it down to £100. £100 for a diesel heater. You think it could cost that virtually for the postage? Right, enough waffling on now. I'm going to get in the box. I'm not going to film absolutely everything, but we're going to get in the box, get everything out, and see if I can work out or see what the instruction book's like to tell me how to put it together. Right, let's get it out of the box. All the bits at the top. Right, that's it outside the box. Obviously, it comes out the box exactly like that. I've just took the box part off, and then you've just got a bag of bits, which is going to be the exhaust and the air inlet, etc, etc, which fit in them two pipes there. Exhaust and air inlet, and the heat comes out of there. Obviously the hot air comes out of there, which you can have a big pipe on, which you can divert to where you want it, but I'll show you that once I've set it all up. And on the top, it's not that heavy, it's got some weight to it, it's not that heavy, about 10 kg. The top there, the red, is obviously where you put your diesel, the diesel heater. Looks alright, doesn't it? Looks nice. Very snazzy. Also, you've got a fob there. I don't know how to get it off yet. I'll get all this off in a minute. On the front, you've got the LCD display, which is on, that just clicks off. It's on a cable which I think it extends 1.5 meters or something, but there's an extension cable as well included, so you can have it a lot longer, and you can control everything on there. You've also got a fob, which you can turn it on and off and turn the heating up and down. Simple, quick way to do it. And you've also got a phone app where you can do it all off your phone. So we're going to put it together. Yeah, the sides lift off. So I ain't got a clue what I'm looking at. I just want to look. Fuel pump. That's obviously where your diesel goes. And you've got a fuel line that comes down there through the fuel pump, and then the electronics down into the heater. I think it's very, very, very simple, very basic, but that's what you want. You don't want loads of things to go wrong with it. As I say, with the discount, it's about £100, and I think you can spend thousands on diesel heaters. So this isn't the, you know, like the creme de la creme of diesel heaters, as in all the. I don't know. I'm just saying that because it's cheap, but it might be absolutely up there with the best. I don't know. As long as it's safe, all I'm worried about is, which I don't know how it connects yet, but is if this unit is going to be in my shed, and you've got the exhaust obviously going to be taken outside. All I'm worried about, which might not need to be worrying about, is how the exhaust fits to that pipe, the outlet, exhaust outlet, which is going to be on the inside of the shed. So I'm going to have to get, I won't get that for this video, but I will get a CO2 tester to make sure there's no carbon monoxide coming in. That's all got a big seal and everything there to like the manifold. The fuel line's away from the heat, and you've just got a power lead. Very, very simple. Obviously that's where all the heat gets, there's got the heat exchange and everything there, and it all gets blown out with the fans and that. But yeah, it doesn't look like a lot can go wrong, which is absolutely brilliant in my book. We're going to start messing. I want to have a look through the instructions. The massive booklet, obviously all different languages and stuff like that. Look for the instructions, how to put it together, and I'll get back to you in a second. There's a few key points that you've got to know, which I've written down so I don't forget myself. Like I mentioned before, the exhaust will get very, very hot, sometimes up to 400 Celsius. So make sure if there's children about, it's out of reach of children, it's away from anything that could melt or catch on fire, it's away from your grass, or it's away from anything that could get damaged by heat. If you've exhausted it and you need to protect the kids or protect yourself from burning on it or something like that, you'd need to get, I'm not a professional, so I'm just saying what thinking outside the box, like, you need to get some kind of trunking to go around the exhaust with like a heat shield on the inside of it to stop the heat coming straight from that. So you're sort of protecting it. That's not from here, that's after it's come out of the machine. Just so it's not as hot to touch, but you have to speak to a professional about that to find out the correct way of doing it. Also, another big one was, once you've had it running and you've done what you want to do and you want to turn it off, you'd go through the process of turning the program off, and then it will go through a cooling down cycle up to 3 to 5 minutes, which expels all the gases, and it just turns off correctly. So when you turn it on the next time, there's no issues. If you just turn the switch off at the wall and it just shuts down without doing its cooling down process, you could have problems when you next try and turn it on. It might be because the fuel in the, I don't know why, but always follow it properly. Always wait for it to cool down, and always wait for it to go through the cooling off process. That's where I've got to so far. If I come across anything else, but when I looked at that, I thought, no, the manual's massive. It's all different languages, and there's In total, that's with everything, there's 23 pages, so it's not that bad. Most of it is about how to use the apps and stuff. Let me just show you what we've got. So inside the box you've got the black flexi pipe, which will extend, comes from the bottom, which is for your air intake, and obviously it will have that on the top. The air intake should be on the outside because that's going to be taking the oxygen from where you're living, and you don't want to be limiting your oxygen. So if it's not a well ventilated area, a shed, I should be absolutely fine, but I still might put it outside. Yeah, if it's not a well ventilated area, you should have this outside. But I'd imagine if you can get it outside, that's the best thing you should do. But always talk to a professional. So that's for the air intake. It's very simple, very simple. I'm just making it sound complicated. Let me just open this one. No, but you've got to follow the rules and you've got to be careful. That's just a power supply. We've got the power supply, which obviously goes into the unit and into the wall. Then we've got the flexi pipe, which extends, which goes on the front, so you can just guide that where you want it in your living space. Then you've got the exhaust. If you've got that on a shelf where the exhaust can just come straight down and outside, perfect. If you want that flat on a surface, you can put that at the bottom first, and there's a little cutout groove on the side there, so it comes out that way. You've got the Jubilee clips, which connect all your pipes to everything. What I was worried about, which I don't think I needed to be as worried about, is that which goes to the exhaust, it's not soft, but it's got a little bit of play. So when you put the Jubilee clip on, make sure it's snugged right up. It's loose. You put it on and it feels quite loose. Wiggle, 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 and it gets tight then. So your Jubilee clip will be on first. You push it onto your pipe and onto where it's got to go on the exhaust outlet, and then tighten your Jubilee clip up. Make sure it's very tight. Get that as tight as you can without threading it, obviously. And then if you put your other pipe on there, obviously you're going to have another Jubilee clip, and that will just go to the outside then onto it's like a muffler, a baffler. So instead of going bum 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 diesel eater noise, it's just gonna you from the videos I've looked at, the exhaust noise is very little, but there is a little drying off valve. I've seen some people on the videos having it like that or up. That little hole there needs to be facing downwards. I think it's for condensation and stuff like that, but you don't want that to be starting to fill up with fluids or anything. So that little drying off is obviously pointing downwards. Simplified now, simplified. Right, we've just got that out of the box. You put that where you want it. Think about it where you want it in the shed. Okay, so that's going to be sat on a flat surface. Put that on, screw it in, put the bracket, which is there, which holds it to the base of the unit. And then I'll Jubilee clip my pipes on, exhausting outside to wherever I want it to go, and get it fixed so I'll never have to mess with it and think about it ever again. But always make sure anywhere it's touching is protected by the heat. You've got a heat shield. Your air intake, you connect that. Have that ideally outside, because that's going to be sucking the air out of the room. You want to breathe as much as you can. So yeah, ideally have that outside. And that goes on the front, and you just direct the heat. I'm gonna go and get some fuel now. I'm gonna put it all into place, show you what it looks like, get the fuel, and we'll fire it up and see how it performs. Okay, I'm just fitting the exhaust elbow. So first of all, push it in so it's really tight up against it, and then put the Jubilee clip on and tighten it up. But I've took the side off so you can get access a bit easier. Obviously get to the screw there, and then you get it all nice and tight. Don't over tighten it so it threads the Jubilee, but get it all nice and tight so there's no movement. I said previously in the video I was a bit worried about the exhaust. Do I need to put a sealant around it? But that's absolutely sealed. I think that's perfect.
But always do it to, I'm passing the buck here. I'm not saying that's 100% safe, but I think it is, and everything seems fine. But still get a carbon monoxide tester. And then you've got the air intake. Have it that way, slight angle, so you can get the screwdriver in nice and easy and tighten that up. And that's all tightened up nicely. Okay, looking good. Okay, so I've put a slab on top of the cupboard. That's where the heater's going to sit. I've got some fire blocks as well, which I had lying about, and might use some of them just to get rid of some of the heat. That hole there is going to be the air intake, and that is going to be where the exhaust goes. The exhaust pipe's going to fit onto there. Yeah, scrap that. This will lower the heat of the exhaust, but I still think it's going to be too hot, and I've got the hole too tight. So I'm going to make a lot bigger hole, so it's nowhere near the wood. And I've got a nice thick metal plate that I'm going to put on there and mount it all to that on the front, which should dissipate the heat a lot easier, a lot better. And I've also got this exhaust wrap, which I want to put over it, and as tight as I can up against this plate, and it's going to come all the way back here. Once that's done, it's all ready to go. We can fire it up. I've got the diesel now. I've bought exactly £5 worth of diesel, so I can, if I got £10 worth, it wouldn't fit in. So I've got £5 worth of diesel on the nose, and I can work out roughly how much it's using per hour, etc. Then I'll fill it up on the tank, put a mark where the £5 is, and I can work out halfway, run it to halfway, and then I can work out how many hours I get. But yeah, right, let's get it all done and we fire it up. Just cutting the hole out in this plate is a nightmare because I haven't got a core bit. So I've got to just do it with a drill bit and just keep drilling, chain drilling it up. We're getting there though, we're getting there. Right, we finally got there. We've chewed our way through. I've put the pilot holes to hold the screws, and then let me just show you the through skin, exhaust skin. It's the through hull exhaust. It's got a silicone. I've doubled that up, so that's more of a heat sink. Take some of the heat away from it so it don't dissipate too much onto the actual cover that I'm putting on. And then I'm screwing that then to the outside of the shed, like so. Okay, I think we're ready to put the fuel in and fire it up. There will be a lot of smoke on the initial start up, I believe, from what I've seen on the internet. But the exhaust is in. I've got to put a bracket to hold that secure. Obviously that's just pushed in so far, but it's got to be this muffler has got to be, so the exhaust has got to be slowly falling down to get rid of any condensation. Don't want the condensation, if this is higher than the outlet of the exhaust, you could end up getting condensation going back towards the engine, which is a big no-no. So from the engine, as it comes out the exhaust, it all needs to be slowly falling away. So any condensation water build-up comes out of that little weep hole there, but it will come straight through anyway. And a bracket inside. And this is where I've wrapped the exhaust now with the exhaust wrap. I've tightly wound it around there, which is the through hull fitting. So round it around about 4 or 5 times and pushed it right up against it, and then carried on winding it back out. And then, so I got to halfway, then I've got started again there and come all the way up and secured it, so that's never going to come undone. I've also put a little bit under there just to stop the heat coming from it. It shouldn't do anyway, because there's nothing there, but I've just put it there as a precaution. So we're going to fill it up now, get the diesel in, and see how it goes, see how it runs. Right, it's all ready to go. It's got this £5 line there. Exactly £5 in my container. That line there is the outlet for the fuel, so it won't go no lower than that. So I'll always have that in the tank, unless I tilt. I could put some on the bottom of this just to tilt it that way a bit, but it's probably best not to put sediment, because after time there will be sediment that goes that way. So that's like a safety bit there. And if your sediment does build up, unclip it and clear it out, clean it out. Well, I've just turned it on. You can just see the fuels trying to come up now. Slowly creeping up. Got on H10, the hottest mode. This might start to get smoky in here, so I might have to get out, but we'll see. I'll stand over here anyway. You can hear the ticking. It's not too bad. Fuel's coming round. I don't know if you can see that now, it's here. This is the initially getting the fuel to the engine, or to the glow plug. Once that's done, it should always have fuel in the fuel line, so it wouldn't have to go through this process. It should just fire up. So this is the initial start up. Right then, get back to you when something changes. Come out to the exhaust. This has been going about a minute. The exhaust is, you can see it now, starting to smoke a little tiny bit. Yeah, it's getting out now. Stinks a bit, but this should calm down. I think at first it's going to get all the smoke and all the crap coming from the inside, and all the oils and that are going to be burning off. After the initial burn off, it should be pretty clean. It's been going about 4 minutes, something like that now. I've just quickly gone in. There's some serious heat coming out of it already. It is smoking, but it's not terrible. But I don't want to be in that shed while that's smoking, because some dodgy fumes going on there. I only got to clear. It's well ventilated. Let all that stop smoking. Hopefully it's not going to set on fire. But the heat that's coming out of that is, I'm going to be sweating in there. But that's on the maximum at the minute. I want to turn it down and see if I can get it really comfortable in there. But it is cold outside. Right then, back again in a minute. Right, we've got that going off in the background. It's flat out at the minute, so that's the maximum noise. It is quite, you can hear it. There's nothing major. I started the process. As soon as I turned it on, it was dead on 12 o'clock. So we'll see how it goes from there. See how long it takes for. At the minute, the exhaust wrap's smoking a bit. Outside, it smokes a little bit out of the exhaust for 30 seconds, a minute max, and that's completely gone. The ticking's slowing down a bit now, so it's getting to temperature. I just can't go in there at the minute because it's a bit, it's only a small shed and there's some fumes. And the heat that's coming out of that, it's on maximum, and I won't be able to stay in there. It's too hot. So for a small shed, it's going to be roasting. But I can turn that right, I'm to the maximum, I can turn that right down to get it to a nice comfortable temperature. Buzzing off it so far, absolutely buzzing off it. Well, that's been running 20 minutes now. That is absolutely red hot, the exhaust. That's lukewarm, not even hot at all. And that's cold. There's no heat in that at all, so I know it's not transferring heat to the wood. I know that that's not going to set fire to my shed, so that's a tick off the list. Happy days. I've got this carbon monoxide tester in the shed. The door shut. That's been shut for 10 minutes. The heat in here is phenomenal. This is it. Look, it's a proper carbon monoxide alarm. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. Rosy cheeks. Oh, absolutely toasty. I've turned the fan, the setting down to H3, and that's too hot probably. Could probably turn it down a bit more, but oh, that's lovely, that is. I might have a play with this. I've just let
initially put it on so it's only there, but I could change it to coming round or whatever. I'll have a play with that. This video today is about, can somebody that's not got a clue about engines, can I set up this diesel heater safely? That's the main thing. Can I set it up safely, and is it easy to use? I'm not going to go into the settings because I haven't even looked at that yet. There's plenty more videos out there about the ins and outs of all the settings. For me, I'm just going to have it basic to start with. I might do another video a bit later on how I'm getting on with the app. I'll do a little follow-up video. But for me, initially, just to get it running, to get me warm where I can tinker in my shed making a bit of jewellery, flipping brilliant, absolute brilliant bit of kit. And I can't believe it's only 100 quid. Just over 100 quid. If you use my discount code, which I'll put at the bottom of the screen now, you can get this for virtually £100. That's mad. That is mad. Can't believe it's so cheap. That's been running 45 minutes and it's gone down a smidge. Like I've just said, I've had that running since I started it all at 12 o'clock. It might use a little bit more on the initial start up to run the fuel line, fill the fuel lines and stuff like that. But we're going to do it from start up, and I want to leave that running now for a few hours. Probably, I'll leave it so 2 hours. We'll have it running. On the first hour, I want to put a line, and then that's when it's all set up. And on the second hour, I'll do another line and see if there's any difference. See if the initial startup did use more fuel. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. The wrap, the exhaust wrap that I put over the exhaust, on the outside, I've got a little bit of spit, flicked it on it, it went tss, it's red hot. On the inside, I can touch it, but it's still hot, but it's not going to set fire to nothing. I can touch it with my hand. So that's not going to cause any issues on the inside at all. On the outside, the metal framing, the flange that I put on, the through hull exhaust flange thing, that was warm to the touch, but it's not hot, so that's not going to combust. And then the plate, you couldn't feel any heat in it at all, so it's working perfect. That is. I'm glad I changed it. I spoke to a friend who knows a bit about these sort of things, and he said that will probably be sufficient. The through hull exhaust fitting, but just be extra safe. Use a sheet of metal, small, with the 2 silicon O-rings, and that will be absolutely fine. And it's spot on. That is. Oh, freezing cold. I might stay in the shed. It's warmer in here than it is in the house. Lovely jubbly, nice and toasty. Don't forget. Get one of them for peace of mind. It's still a bit smelly in here from the fumes, and I was worried about coming in here. But I've got the carbon monoxide tester in here, just checking it. And so far so good, but I will keep that. That's got to stay in here now. Okay, that's been running for 1 hour. I've marked it smack on the line. Let's see what it's like in another hour. It's horrible, wet and cold outside. Ooh. Get in that shed. It's nice and toasty. Before, I'd be running back into the house thinking I ain't staying out here, it's too cold and wet and horrible. But it's bloody lovely now. Diesel heater can do up to 50 square metres of space, like living space. So it's a big old area for this heater. Obviously, the hotter you run it, the more fuel it's going to use. But for me, in here, I'm toasty. I've got it on H3. And to be honest, it's warm. I'll be falling asleep. It's that toasty. So I'm going to be using less fuel. We're nearly up to 2 hours now. Got about 25 minutes left. We'll give it till 2 o'clock and then we'll see how much it's gone down.
but I've measured it from the top of the tank down to the outlet, the pipe, so it weren't going to lower than that, is 120 mil. The first initial one, first hour, used just over 5 millimeters. I'm not sure if it's going to be a little bit less on the second hour. So if it was 5 millimeters, so that's 24 hours it would run for, according to that. But we'll see how we get on. We'll see what happens at 2 o'clock and we'll get back to you. Right, nearly 2 o'clock. That'll be 2 hours it's been running. Let's go back to the shed and see what the fuel's saying. Oh, bloody hell. Bloody hell, as soon as you open the door, the heat hits you. It's warmer in here than it is in the house. Right then. A tiny bit less. Where's my... Okay, so that's been running for 2 hours. Oh, that's quite a big difference, that is. The first one was a bigger usage, obviously going through the fuel lines and stuff. The second one was half the amount. I'll take a photo of that so you can see with a tape measure exactly what's been used. But that's shocking results, that is. By looking at the photo that you can see now, it looks as though the first time I ever set it up and got it running, it used about 6 or 7 mil. And then after it had warmed up and got the fuel running through, it used about 4 millimeters. So that is going to give you a lot of hours of usage. And that's just from a £5 amount of fuel. I used £5, filled the tank up, filled the jerry can up with £5 exactly of fuel. And that's what we've used. If you've got a space that you shared, you camper, whatever, and you want some heating, I can't recommend this enough. It's absolutely brilliant. For somebody that hasn't got a clue how to set things up, I've set it up just by looking at some of the YouTube videos and stuff like that. I've set it up with ease, with minimal tools. All I've had to get, which I would recommend getting, because I wouldn't want it, it's tidy as well, isn't it? So the exhaust wrap stuff, about 15 quid. A sheet of metal, which I got off my friend, but that's probably only going to be a few quid. And then the through hull exhaust skin, just extra safety to set it up, and it's running lovely. That's going to cost you probably an extra 25 quid to get everything, so it's absolutely safe and perfect. And also make sure you've got one of them, the carbon monoxide tester. I know I've said it a few times now, but you've got to be safe. But yeah, can't recommend it enough. The heat's phenomenal. It's nice and toasty in here. I could do it in my pants. And it's probably a bit warmer today because it took me 2 days to do this video. It was 1 degree the other day. It's probably about 5 degrees today. But in here, it must be 21 degrees. It's absolutely toasty. It's warmer than the house. So yeah, can't recommend it enough. I'll drop a link. I'll drop a link for America and for the UK in the description, at the top of this description. And also I've had it in the video as we've been talking, so you can screenshot and look at that. But just click on the link in the description and it will take you straight to it. Don't forget to put my code in, which is this code here. Put that code in, it will take another 10, I think it's 10% off for you. So it works out about £100. Happy days. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I know I've been waffling a bit because I'm not 100% sure what I've been on about. I've had to learn it as I've gone, because I don't know nothing about these heaters and stuff like that. But this video was to try and demonstrate, can somebody with no knowledge on engines and stuff like that set up the diesel heater? And it was simple. I had to scratch my head a few times about going through the shed just to make it safe, but as you've seen in this video now, I've done it and this is the way to do it. But I would always say get some professional help or advice. I'm not a professional, but it's working a treat. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, get subscribed, drop a comment, and if you like the video, please give me a like. Right then, let's get making some jewellery, nice and toasty. If I had an electric heater, I think it would use that in 2 hours. Obviously, they all vary from different types now, but it's going to be. I think I was looking at something online. It's about £1.50 an hour to run a certain kilowatt heater. But that's just a glow heater. That's pumping out a lot more. You get a lot more for your money, and it's a lot cheaper. That's the fan on that's really good, and it's blowing out some seriously hot heat. If I had that at H10, I couldn't stand in here. I couldn't be in here, and the heat coming out of that initially, right from the front, is red hot. It's really, really good. I know I keep saying it, but I'm buzzing off it. I'm absolutely buzzing. Thank you, Hcalory and Banggood, for sending me this. They sent me an email saying, we've seen some of your videos in the shed. I think they're brilliant. Would you like to try one of our heaters now it's winter? All we want you to do is just give us an honest opinion. Show us you setting it up and just tell us some of the features and if it works good or whatever. And that's what I've done. And it works very, very good. I know I'm probably overexcited because I've never used one of these before. I can't tell you if it compares to other heaters, other diesel heaters, because I've never used them. But my initial first impression of seeing a diesel heater work, they are frigging brilliant. Really good. And a lot cheaper than using the electric blow heaters and stuff like that, or oil heaters. Bloody hell, yeah. Wicked. Alright, I'm going now. I'm enough waffle. Got me a nice cup of tea. See you in a bit. Ta-da.